Welcome back to another video, guys. I hope you guys are having an amazing day so far. So today we're going to be discussing 5 things and 5 tricks that dealerships use in order to steal your car from you. And some of these may actually surprise you. As someone who has worked at a dealership, I tend to know all the mighty greedy tricks that these dealerships tend to use in order to steal your car from you. So let's break it down. So before we start this video, I just want to let all of y'all know I will not advise any one of y'all to buy from a dealership. I just want y'all to know the secrets that dealerships use in order to steal your car from you. And hopefully, if you do have to buy from a dealership, you can use some of these tricks against them. Claim that you were a salesman before and get past those barriers that they like to propose to you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into tips. When I worked as a salesman, what we would typically have to do is do a walk around with you with the vehicle. Now, what they normally do as salesmen, what we're called to call out is little tiny imperfections. And I know that seems like, oh, well, duh, that's obvious. But here's what they tend to do to get you to dumb you down to think your car is worth less than what it actually is. So they'll go around the car, and we were asked to point out about any scratches on the vehicle. Like say there was a scratch around this corner panel. We're just supposed to walk around the car and just like do this. And like try to see if you could scratch it off, just see if it's a tiny imperfection. But then we're like waiting for you to give an explanation for it. Just because most customers tend to provide an explanation once you point out imperfections of the car. Like say, oh, my little kid just ran into that with a bike. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And then we're also asked to call and check the tire tread. Now, if the tire tread is bad, that will knock a lot of money off your trade. And that is not a dealership scheme. That is just how much it costs for tires nowadays. But with that simple explanation, they dock you down and make you feel like your car is so much less than what it actually is worth. And that brings us into tip number 2. So tip number 2, okay, so normally every time we get a trade-in value, we usually go off KBB. And like I said with the first thing, which is the continuation for this tip for number 2, so what we normally do is we go off fair value trade on any of those websites that you would get just a valuation of your car from. So say for example, you went to KBB and they gave you $13,000 for your trade. We would try to hit you around $12,000 just to go below that. And we'll say, oh, do you remember that scratch on the vehicle? Do you remember your tires being completely worn out, even though they maybe weren't worn out? So you need to know what shape your car is in before you go to the dealership so they can't screw you over with that value. So when they tend to bring up those explanations, you're like, oh, okay, so maybe my car is not worth $13,000. Maybe it's worth $12,000. But I assure you this, if you went and sold your car online, sure, you may have had to pay taxes, but you would probably get 2 to 3 more grand out of your car, therefore subsidizing all those tax benefits that you would get by trading it into the dealership. You got to think about that before you do that decision. All right, tip number 3. What they normally do is every time that we get a car that's going to be a trade-in. So as salesman, I was a current salesman at the dealership I worked at. And what we were supposed to do is a term called boxing the trade. So every time we went up to the manager up at the desk, once we got all that information from you, we knew the car you wanted to buy, and you told us what payment expectation to get. I'm telling you guys, do not, no matter wherever you go, give them a payment expectation, because I promise you what they will do is they will abuse that. They will abuse it in order to get you to buy that car. So let me explain what boxing the trade means. So what we normally did is we brought the car and we showed them all the information up at the managers, and we would ask for ACV. ACV stands for actual cash value, what your car would actually be worth if we just gave you cash today. So what that normally stands for is that we are normally like, okay, how can we make more front gross on this trade? Front gross is what we get as commission. The more we get as commission, the more we downsize you and what value you get for your car, the more money that goes in the salesman's pockets. So with the box of the trade, so then we get the ACV, which say for example, your ACV was 12 grand. Okay. We'd say, oh, we're gonna hit you for 11 grand, okay? So once you do that, say, oh, that's $1,000 extra front gross for me if you accept that deal. Every time you would go to a dealership, make sure you ask that salesman, what is the actual cash value for my car? And if they won't print that out for you, leave the dealership, because they are trying to screw you over. Once they see what that lowball figure they gave for you, and once you see what your car is actually worth, you will never return back to that dealership. So another secret that dealerships use in order for you to buy their vehicle, we see what car you want, we're like, let's go for a test drive. So you are looking at the car that you admire. If it drives great and it rides great, you may tend to justify the price that they ask. So what dealerships do is they try to get you to fall in love with the vehicle. Once you fall in love with the vehicle, they're like, okay, we got this. This is easy. The girl loves the car. The guy loves the car. We'll definitely get them. We can hit them with a low value for the trade-in value. As long as we can get them at that payment expectation, and boom, we have a deal. So really the first tip you should be is I want to know what the figures of the price will be. So then you start to control the situation. You justify what payment expectation you're looking for, yet you don't tell them. You just have that figure in your mind. You're like, okay, this is way over than what we should. See, don't fall in the trap. That car you're looking at, it probably has thousands of other vehicles outside near you that could meet your expectation and meet that same car specifications. So I'm telling you, just control the situation. The dealership will try to control you, and that is when you will lose all of your money, is when the dealership starts to control you. They know your weakness, they know your strengths, and they're gonna take control of that situation. So take control of the situation. You ask them, what is the payment for this car? And they're gonna ask, well, we usually don't do that. We want you to have a test drive just to make sure you even like the vehicle. Don't fall for that trap. Ask what the payment will be. Therefore, you won't get screwed. And the fifth and final trick that they do in order to get you. So once you're in that test drive, once you figured out, oh, this is a payment expectation I want to go test drive the car. Okay. Tip number one, out of all the tips in the test drive, do not compliment the car. If anything, find things that you don't enjoy about the car. Point it out. Say it. Don't think it, say it. Okay, so if the salesman thinks, okay, this may not really be the right car for them, but hey, I really need money for this month. Let me see if I can sell them this car. Maybe I can give them a good price, a better price than what they already expect. Never settle for the price that they give you. Try to get as low as you can. Now, whenever they come out and whenever you're done with the test drive, once you've pointed out everything wrong with that vehicle, they're gonna be like, okay, so we're gonna have to pitch them with a good price. They're gonna tell their managers, they don't really like the car, but this is the color they like. Like, point out something that you may like, but throughout the test drive, point out things you don't like. Say it may ride a little bit rough. Say the transmission feels a little bit wonky. Say some other things that really would disencourage a person to buy that car. So once you do that, then they're gonna be like, okay, here, we're gonna hit you with these numbers. And then once you get that, take it under control. So then propose, okay, well, it's this problem, this problem, this problem. I don't really know if I can do that. I just don't like what's on this vehicle. Is there any way we could get any lower on this vehicle? So once you ask them that, then you're taking control of the situation. Then they're going to have to be the order takers in order to propose you a good proposal that hits your price point. And what I would do is I wouldn't just say, can we lower the price? Say this, propose them an offer and do a lowball offer. So like, okay, say for $38,000 out the door, that's what they're proposing to you. Say, okay, I don't really like this, or this. If we can do $36,500 out the door, I'll take it today. But if not, I'm walking out right now. Say that and I promise you, it will guarantee you that sell, or hey, I just saved you out of a sell that they were taking advantage of you for. And once they give you the lowest offer that they want, once you decided to say the price that they gave you, you liked, but you didn't tell them that. You told them, that price is too much. They come down to the lowest amount that they possibly can do once you give them that lowball offer in order to earn your business. Boom, you got that car for $1,500 cheaper, $1,000 cheaper than the price you already liked. Don't fall in love with the vehicle, guys. Fall in love with the process, fall in love with the sell, and then get the car of your dreams by just knowing these 5 tips that I just gave you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you like the content here, please hit subscribe. I just try to do everything I can to help y'all out. I want to save y'all money, and I want y'all's cars to last forever. And if you like the sound of that, just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this video. So what I want to explain is that not all dealerships are like this. There are some good dealerships that are out there that just want to help people and just want to make enough money in order to maintain a good profit margin for the business. But most dealerships out there are there just to screw you over. So don't let them take advantage of you. Take control of the situation, and I promise, guys, you will never lose a fight or a battle in your life ever again when it comes to car sales. So thank you guys very much for tuning into this video. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.